Today we have with us Radhika Pandeya of Fitness Bakery, and I've sent her a request, so she should be joining soon. Radhika.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Tired.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
It's a long day with two little ones, the housework, the baking, the cooking, everything. I'm sure a
Yeah,
lot of couples with small children will understand.
yeah. Okay, I just want to quickly introduce Radhika and then I'll hand over to her. Radhika is the owner and founder of Fitness Bakery, which is a healthy baking bakery. She's also a former business journalist and a corporate employee who followed her passion for healthy baking to launch Fitness Bakery. And she juggles between her two little boys at home and her gym because she's also a fitness enthusiast and her bakery.
Some people still don't believe it when I say that, it took me at least 4 years to get the cookie textures that I wanted. So,
Really?
yeah. So 4 years of just, baking, baking, baking. So yeah, it's been a long journey. It's been very enlightening. Like I've found myself in terms of finding out that I enjoy baking, therapeutic thing for me. So that's how Fitness Bakery basically happened. I mean, my husband and I both love healthy. We love fitness. So we wanted to eat healthy cakes and desserts as well, and that's how it all started.
And then in the beginning, was it word of mouth? At what point did you realize that this was something that you could actually convert into a business and it wasn't just going to be a hobby or something you do on the side?
Yeah, in the beginning it was actually word of mouth. So my husband was competing in a couple of competitions, and there were some international trainers and international personalities, and couple of people from Mumbai, celebrities from Mumbai, who were going to be participating, and he made them try the products. They loved it, and then that's how they started, ordering, and they started talking about it, and that's how it sort of grew from there.
Hmm. And I remember you were telling me that for the longest time you were doing this on the side while you were continuing with your job.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah,
I wanted to talk more about that because a lot of times when we have a business idea, we're desperate to leave our jobs. कि अभी यही करना है. But how to be sometimes balancing it till the business becomes
to
more
be
viable might
honest,
be a good idea.
I'm actually from Delhi, and to be honest,
Huh.
if I was in Delhi living with my parents, I may have just quit everything and started this full time from home. But I was living in Mumbai, of all
Hmm.
places, in Bandra, which is the most expensive, and I had a full time job, and I could not afford to quit it. Like, who would pay rent? Who would pay for everything, all my outings and everything? So I couldn't afford to quit that, and I was younger, much younger, so I had all this time on hand when I came back home at night, and I just started baking at that time. So it was like come home by around 7, then start baking around 8. Sometimes I used to go on baking till 2, because we had to like I had to make sure that financially I was stable, and
Hmm.
that this and another thing was also that I needed to see where this would go. How long would I last in this? How long would it be my passion? And
Yeah.
how far would it go? If I just quit everything and after the year realize what, I don't really enjoy this, it
Yes.
would be a little foolish of me.
Agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's only when you start doing something that you realize how much staying power you have in that space, right?
Correct. And also
Yeah.
how good are you in this
Yeah.
particular thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know how good I was. I was doing it for the first time, and it took me also many many years to learn. I mean, to date, sometimes I question my own recipes and I experiment, and I'll go and redo my chocolate cake all over again. Make 5 cakes
Yeah.
and see, okay, is my current recipe the best, or is there something better that I can do? So I still do that, and to be able to do that, to get to that point, you need to have a certain drive, which you won't know if you have it or not within a few months.
Yeah. And did you feel the need to upskill yourself, do any courses? How did you, or was it mostly through experiments that you improved skill at baking?
It was mostly through experiments. Like if you see the initial cakes that I used to make, even when I look at them now, I'm like, what was I thinking? But it's so taste-wise, I have upscaled myself by just experimenting. Um, but visually, how a cake can look more appealing. That I have learned. I have looked at blogs, videos. I have done so much research online, like how are people decorating cakes and stuff. How do I want to decorate? Because there's a certain identity that you have to create for your brand. So, do I want to get into things like fondant, or what is my specialty? How do I want to do it? So, I could not go and study further in
Hmm.
terms baking, etc., because I was in 2015, I had my first child, so there was that block. I couldn't even go anywhere. So but I did try and sort of learn as much as possible by looking at videos or learning from other people. In fact, even learning from my own staff in the kitchen. I mean, I
Yeah.
still go and ask them to teach me something. If they know it better than me, I'll go and ask them. So
Yeah.
I think it's just knowledge sharing.
Yeah. And I have a question here around how did you market your brand and how did you come up with your pricing strategy?
Okay, so pricing strategy was all it was about what people are willing to pay,
Hmm.
and B, it was also about what are the ingredients that I'm using. So the quality of ingredients, like there are a lot of brands who are much cheaper than me, also healthy. They also call, like, basically they market themselves as healthy as well, but they are cheaper than my products. And I have discussed this and I've thought about it a lot of times whether I need to drop my prices. But the point is that I want to stay honest to the product, and I believe that if your product speaks for itself, people will be willing to pay. So,
Hmm.
A, the ingredients, B, the amount of effort that I have put in creating the recipes, um, C, the time and effort that goes into creating the product, each product, and then what I feel will be a value add and the amount that I will be happy with. I also need to pay further vendors, employees, etc. So all of that came into account when I decided my pricing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and
And
as for marketing, which you asked, so it has been all word of mouth. It has been all Instagram was a big boost for me. We had I still remember there was a time when I had some 600 followers, which is
hmm.
around 2013, I think. And Malai following me, and she ordered from me, and then she posted about it. And I remember I was going to my office in an auto, and suddenly, like, I think this was in the morning when she posted, and suddenly my followers started increasing. It went from 600 to 1000 to 1400, and I was like, what's going on? Till I realized
Yeah.
that she was posted, and it went crazy. Like, I called my friend. I was like, dude, like, this is happening. Can you believe it? So it from there, like,
Hmm.
I realized the power of just a call out, or somebody just somebody telling you online that your product is good, and what has just sort of picked up, and that's been the marketing, so to say. But I have really not spent any money on marketing till date.
Okay.
Yeah, just very recently we did a small promotion on Instagram, but that's it.
Hmm. That's it.
So it's been
So I guess
all word of mouth.
so because your product was good, it kind of inspired people to call it out even though you hadn't asked them to. And
Yeah,
I
so
think
I
that's
have
what
actually
happened.
never asked anyone to uh, call out my product.
Hmm.
I have sent products, but I have never sort of said that, oh, please will you give us a shout out.
Okay.
That I've
Yeah.
never done.
Yeah.
But yeah, but there are people who have, there are influencers who have done that, who have given us shout outs, and that's really helped us.
Yeah. Anisha wants to know if there are any professional courses done so far for making cakes appealing apart from healthy baking. So Radhika said she hasn't. Do you know of any courses on the, the visual aspect of baking?
I know that Lavon does courses, and they have guest courses also. Like they get guests, celebrity chefs from abroad and all to do that, which I really wanted to go for, but I haven't been able to go. But I know that they do that in Bangalore, which are like weekend courses and stuff that you can go and do. I know that even in Mumbai you can, but I have not done any course. And to make a cake appealing, I just feel like you first have to find your style. So mine is
Hmm.
all about adding fruits on top, or some sort of design with chocolate, or some fresh flowers, edible flowers. That is what I found appeals to me the most. So I think that is what you need to find first, and then go ahead with that.
Yeah. And also, Radhika, when you moved base from your home to a commercial facility, so that is a big transition, right? There's that costs go up. There's a lot of things to keep in mind. So tell me, A, why you chose that point, like that. At what point did you decide that now I can move from home to a commercial facility, and tell us how that transition was and what to expect in such a transition.
So I decided, I had one person working with me at that time, and he would come in the afternoons and he would start baking, and then it was a madhouse, literally. Like
Hmm.
it wasn't my house anymore. It was just cakes, cookies, cakes. Delivery boys, like I had my own delivery boys. They were coming at the door, and vendors were coming at the door, and it was going crazy. I think I did this for about 2 years, or 1.5 years or so, till I decided it was time to move out. So
Hmm.
what I did before I moved out was I looked at my revenue sheet, and I figured out whether I would be able to afford to move out, how much was I making, how much I would need to pay employees, and the the good thing was that I knew that I would hit the ground running. So I already had the brand, I already had an X amount coming in, so it wasn't like starting from scratch.
Hmm.
So that's when I decided that I was also again on the family way. So I thought it's just better to move out, because with two kids it's going to get really crazy.
Yeah.
And we also needed to manage the orders. So I wanted to be able to get on to the delivery platforms, and manage more orders per day. So I think for that we needed the commercial space.
Hmm.
And for me, a criteria was that it had to be close to my house, because I have children, and they need full attention. So I had to be able to be home or be in the kitchen at a very short notice. So
Hmm.
that was one criteria, and yeah, we went ahead with the kitchen. It was uh, it was quite a huge step in terms of the financials. We had to invest a certain amount of money in the capex. I knew that there would be now a rental, there would be a separate electricity bill. There was more vendors. We needed more vendors. I needed more staff, so my staff grew from one person to now some 7-8 people. So we
Hmm.
needed more staff. So all of that was taken into account. And the funny thing is that at that time I was actually um, the money was actually coming to me, but now I'm not taking a penny from the business at the moment. So
Okay.
that was also another decision that I took, that first I need to establish this commercially before I actually start earning money from it. So
Right.
I don't take even a single penny. I formed a company. Because we had to go, if you're going commercial, you need to do all of that. So we formed a
Hmm.
company, took all the licenses, opened the bank accounts, PAN card, GST, etc., everything, FSSAI, and now it's full fledged, like separate entity. So I am
Hmm.
a director in that.
Right. So currently you
Yeah.
are investing everything you are making back into the business.
Yes. So currently it all
Hmm.
goes back into the business. It goes, whatever needs to be paid out, that's done. And then what's left is left, goes back, right back into the business. Maybe we need something new, maybe some new equipment, something else. So it goes
Yeah.
right back, doesn't come to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So now my next step is to be able to draw a salary. So I want to grow it now further that we can actually, reach a point where I can draw a salary.
hmm.
Yeah.
And I also remember you were mentioning yesterday that you got the first, like you got the investment from close family,
Yes.
and we were talking about, you got the first, like you got the investment from close family,
Yes.
and we were talking about, the advantages of getting investment or early investment from close family versus going out to friends or other people or even investors. And I found your point very interesting about how that balance works for you, because at this point you don't want to be pressured and be answerable to other people. So
Yeah.
please talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I actually did this along with my dad when we
Hmm.
started the commercial kitchen. I needed someone to come in with me for the capex because the our commercial ovens and commercial mixers and all are expensive. So I wanted someone to come with me for that, which my dad did, and I did get I was in discussions and I did get offers from others who wanted to invest in this, and I did consider it as well. But I really wanted to sit and think about what I wanted out of it and what they would want from me.
Hmm.
So, after very careful consideration, I decided that it's best to just stick with me and my dad right now because we. I know that there is no pressure from him,
Yeah.
and that I can take my own time to sort of start really making money where I'm able to actually show an ROI
Hmm.
to an investor. So, also, because I was already on the family way, I knew that I would be needing time for the new baby and for the other one. So I knew that it's going to be a year, 2 years, and before I'm able to finally get into this, head on again. That was one of the major reasons why I did not want to go to friends or to an outside investor to take money from them, because I know that they want their returns. They want,
Yeah.
at least quarterly, they want to know what is the business up to, how much are you doing, where are you going, and that's too stressful. I didn't want all of that at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm able to sustain. I don't need to invest, uh, invest any operational money into the business.
Yeah.
So
And it also
operationally,
allows
we are
you to
sustained.
grow at your own pace, which I
Correct.
think is important, because I like that you decided that that was your priority and not given to the pressure of, raise money, grow fast, all of those things that happen when you
Yeah,
start a
yeah,
business.
yeah.
So I found that very cool. Also, how do you manage two kids and your business?
It's I do have a nanny, but it's who I don't have right now. So right now I'm back to being pre-commercial times. I'm again baking from home, but
Hmm.
otherwise my older one goes to play school now, and it's actually, I'm lucky I have a team that is now well trained, and they take care of the kitchen really well. And there are times when they actually want to throw me out of the kitchen, because when I go, I'm like, this cake is not okay. I don't think these cookies are okay. I don't think that icing is okay. And they're like, you know what, please go. Because the minute you come in, you start finding faults in everything. So we've reached that point. And
Hmm.
I have been lucky that they've trained before I came, and now it's mostly me going about 2 to 3 hours a day. I'll go and I'll
Okay.
spend time. The rest of the time I'm doing the other. So I make sure that my staff in the kitchen is only focusing on the product. And what I do is all the back end, speaking to the clients, speaking to the vendors, managing all the deliveries. which is all stuff that can be done from home.
Hmm.
So all of that I take care of, and the baking and the product is taken care of by them. And I try to go every day for about 2 hours or so. Um, but that's how I'm managing right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
And Saujanya wants to know if you have any advice for beginners who want to explore baking but find it intimidating.
Actually, baking can be intimidating because you're constantly stressed about whether your product will come out well, whether or not, or what could go wrong. So it happened with me as well. And I remember initially I had got a terrible review from someone, and it literally broke my heart. So you have to sort of just move on. You have to have faith. You have to keep baking. Baking is all about trials and errors, and then finally finding your groove. So it is intimidating, but there is so much available information online now. Like, why has this happened to my cookie, or why has this happened to my cake, or why has my cake cracked on top or sunk in the middle. So there is so much information that you can literally just go online, search for what your issue is, find answers, and then see what happened with your product, and sort of keep testing. I just say this, that you have to keep at it. You have to keep at it, like with anything else. You have to just keep at it till you actually find your perfect sweet spot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
And
that's what I can say.
when you started, so you started specifically with healthy baking. And
Yeah.
did you find a ready market? I feel like people were ready for, having products that were healthy and also tasty, or did you find that there was a blockage कि healthy है तो tasty नहीं होएगा?
हाँ, that blockage was there कि healthy है तो
हाँ.
tasty नहीं होएगा. And I have a set clientele now which knows how my product is. But even today, sometimes people will call me and they'll be like, "But will it be tasty?" So I'll say yes, and I'll say, what, like, people love it. But that's what I can tell you, that others get very good feedback. So I hope that you will like it. But that's all that you can do, because there is this block that if it's healthy, will it be tasty, sugar नहीं है, ऐसे इसमें flour नहीं है तो कैसा taste करेगा. So you have to, I encourage people to order. I tell them, what, try it once. I'm sure you'll like it. And then there are clients who come back to me and say, now we don't enjoy the regular stuff. We
Hmm.
actually enjoy your stuff because it tastes different, it feels different. We feel better after eating it. So it's taken time. Like, it's taken about let me see, 14. I think it's taken about 3 years since I started. So I started in 2013. So around
Okay.
15, 16 is when people really started understanding that, okay, healthy can be tasty, and there were more brands that came in, and then there was the keto diet and the paleo diet, and all of that became
Yeah, all those
popular.
things became, yeah,
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 yeah, all that became popular. So people started, wanting to eat healthy products as well.
yeah.
And I think in the last 2 years or so, it's really taken off.
Hmm. Also, you have two very active Insta accounts. So one is your personal account, which are like your fitness videos and everything, and the other is the bakery account on which you put photos of the product. Do you
Products.
have anyone to help you with that, or you manage both the accounts yourself?
So sometimes I do get help, but mostly I'm a bit of a control freak. So I like to handle it all myself.
Okay.
Yeah, 90% of the time I handle it.
Hmm.
10% of the time I'll get someone to help me. But which is why, like I said, my staff throws me out of the kitchen sometimes, because I really am a control freak, and I want to. It's difficult for me to delegate things like that.
Yes, so because you started working with your hands and your own
Yeah,
process, your own learnings, your own intuition went to it, it must have
correct.
been hard to communicate and the same learnings to the staff.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
right?
it's also it's a very different product, so it's very important that whoever's handling the account should know all about the product, should know all about, you know what is healthy, what is added, what is going into it. Any wrong information goes out and it comes back to you really badly.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to be very, especially when it comes to people eating and their health and their fitness, people are very particular about it.
Hmm. Hmm. Is there a trusted, commonly available healthy replacement? What are your most trusted, commonly available healthy replacements in baking?
Healthy replacements. Okay. Well, I use almond flour for one. There's
Hmm.
coconut flour. So these are the two things that I bake with mostly. Honey, there's a lot of honey involved. Honey and coconut sugar. And give me any nut butter and I'll create something. Just give me nut butter and chocolate and I'll create something. And
Yeah.
that's a must for me.
Hmm.
So
And
that's my fallback.
wonderful. And if you guys have any more questions around recipes, we'll ask Radhika to share her favorite recipe at the end of this. Um, Also, what are your plans for the future as you grow further? I know right now is a bit of a difficult time, but hopefully, once we're on the other side of this, what are your plans?
So, like I had mentioned, I want to now at least do 1.5x of what I'm doing currently in terms of revenue. And um, that is what we are going to focus on now. I want to get into more of the. So, till date, I've not done a pop up, for instance,
Okay.
because it's just not. It's just not worked out for me. Like,
Hmm.
with the kids, I've not been able to go out and give a whole day somewhere. So I want to be able to. I want to get into pop-ups, reach out to more clients, reach out to a more wider customer base, and just increase our revenue. Where I want to not just be able to sustain, but a to be able to draw a salary, and b at some point, even look at a retail outlet.
Hmm. What is
So
your
those.
what's the biggest challenge that you faced in this, in this whole taking a hobby, growing into a business, expanding it?
For me, it's been the product primarily.
Hmm.
Uh, to get the product right, uh, that has been a challenge because all of the recipes were created by me from scratch. So it's taken me a really long time to sort of create and get it right. That's one. And secondly, I think also education among a customer base that when we say healthy, this is what we mean. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like, it's not, for me, whole wheat is not a healthy cake. For me, it's grain free and then it's healthy. Or brown sugar is not healthy. It's either honey or coconut sugar or maple syrup, then it's healthy. So just sort of trying to educate people on that.
Yeah.
That's been a challenge to
Hmm.
reach out to people and help them understand what I'm talking about.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
So that.
Anisha wants to know who does the food photography. I think Radhika mentioned that she does it all herself, right?
Yeah, mostly,
Yeah.
and otherwise my kitchen staff, they do it. We don't have a. So we wanted to get a food a photo shoot done, and I had
Hmm.
contacted also people, and then all of this happened. COVID-19
Yeah.
happened, and that's all fallen flat. So now we'll pick it up once we restart.
Yeah. And there's a question here, which is your favorite version of cake?
Version.
Yeah.
I love pound cakes. I love crumb cakes, which are with a crumble on top and some fresh those kind of cakes.
Hmm. And why don't you share your favorite recipe with us? And guys, if you have any other questions, now is the time to ask them.
Actually, I have shared. Like I said, I love crumb cakes and stuff. So I have shared a couple of recipes on the Fitness Bakery account
Okay.
because of the lockdown. I thought what people have at home, they should be able to bake with that. So I've shared a couple of recipes there. So you must go and try it. And my favorite is the berry crumble, which I absolutely love. It's a layer of a crunchy base with berries in the center and a crumble on top, and you just eat it warm, and it's just delicious and crunchy and soft, all of it at the same time. So I would encourage
Sounds
everyone to go and
delicious.
try that out.
That sounds delicious. And I think you're so into fitness, but I think the best part about eating your baking would be that one doesn't feel the compulsive need to work out after that.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't need to because it's all
you,
healthy. Yeah.
you should work out if you still want to, but yeah, this is all healthy. Although I don't say that uh, it has no calories or it's fat free or whatever, but it's all healthy, so it's good for you.
Hmm.
It's all nutritious.
Wonderful. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'll sit here. Thank you so much, Radhika. This it was wonderful, very informative. I think a lot of people will find value in your journey. I definitely find a lot of value in your journey. Like I said in the beginning, I was very impressed rounded every step has been. I think a lot of people will find value in your journey. I definitely find a lot of value in your journey. Like I said in the beginning, I was very impressed rounded every step has been.
Yeah.
That it's thought through. These are not sudden. And I guess when you have a family, you have to think through your decisions more. They cannot be sudden decisions. And all the very best to you. And I hope to try one of your cakes really, really soon.
For
You're still
sure.
delivering? You're still
No,
delivering?
no, we are not delivering. I don't have
Yeah.
any staff right now.
So
So
how are
not
you spending
delivering.
your time now?
I'm baking, but it's mostly someone from Bandra who wants to come and pick it up, or people around who want to just they can just drop in and pick up a cake or something. So just baking maybe 2 orders a day and no more because it's just me.
Yeah.
So I'm baking from home. Yeah,
Yeah. So you're spending a lot of time with kids, exercising,
cleaning, exercising,
cleaning, doing housework.
cooking,
Yeah,
baking. Yeah.
same, same. A lot
But
of
that's
housework.
it.
I live near to Pali Hill, so I will probably get in touch
Oh
with you
yeah,
and
for sure. Let me
satisfy
know.
one of my cake cravings these days because I'm tired of eating my own cooked food now.
Done. Just let me know.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay,
This was
thank you for
wonderful.
having me. My pleasure.
Absolutely our pleasure. All right, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.